Santa Clarita, this is Jesus Henao of Leola Commercial, and welcome to the Commercial Hour. Be in the know your city. If you're thinking about owning or selling an apartment, an industrial building, or shopping center, you're in the right place. We talk commercial real estate. Live the American dream. Put on the jersey, sweatband, and get in the game. We're here every Monday from 12 to 1, KHTS AM 1220, FM 98.1. Exciting week this week, a short week. We got Thanksgiving. And I have Omar Segura live in studio with me, and we're going to be talking a little bit solar. But before we get into that, one thing I keep wanting to call you Alex for some reason. Well, there's a guy from our church named Alexi Segura, so that's why. So get a little closer to the mic. All right, so Shane is also in the studio today, and guess I don't know about you guys, but who makes a turkey at your place?
For me, the turkey usually comes from, we sort of pass around the duties, so depending on the year to year, Grandpa usually takes the turkey. He likes to have control over that, the carving, the making, everything.
Got it. What about yourself?
Oh, my mom does the whole 5-star full course meal. Turkey, cranberry sauce, stuffing, sweet potato yams.
You guys got to take point on this, man.
Hey, I'm still young. I'm young enough to just show up. Hey, family, how's it going?
So before we get into it, I'll give you a little history on my turkey making. So about 6 years ago, my sister was making the turkey, and I won't say her name, but she's making the turkey, and the turkey is dry. And I'm like, man, there's got to be a better way to make this turkey. There's got to be. So I said, I told everybody, okay, next year it's on me. I'm going to take care of this turkey. So I went online and went to YouTube, how to make a turkey for Thanksgiving.
That's what I did.
Yeah, and I found this turkey. It's called a turkey brine, and you marinate the turkey for a couple of days, usually a week. I'm running behind this year, so it's going to be about 4 days. And you make this sauce. It's called a brine. You boil it. You put the turkey in it, and you let it sit for 4 days, 4 to 5 days, and then you stuff it with oranges and apples. And you put, it's called a dry rub. Dry rub. You rub the turkey all around it with spices, right? But my spice is brown sugar and some other secret ingredients. Throw it in the oven, and this thing comes out juicy. Wow. And I did it 1 year, and now it's been 6 years doing it straight.
Do you get a nice caramelized crust, per se, from the brown sugar on the outside?
You got it,
nice.
boss. You got it.
Yeah.
And I do one more thing. There's a syringe, and I inject the juice throughout the whole turkey. So the meat is tender, soft, and moist.
And when you bite into it, it's just like
just
heaven on earth.
That's exactly it. So that's my my turkey story for this week. So today I'll be putting the turkey in, and getting it prepped and ready to rock, and it's going to be good. So in this show today, we want to talk a little bit about solar. So, Omar here, we're going to talk a little bit about it. Background on my solar, I actually have solar panels on my house. And the story behind that was when I first bought the house, I walk in, first month, we're in the house, everybody's happy, happy we're in a new home, etc. And then the first bill comes in. And the bill is $900. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm telling my wife, we have to do something quick. So I got on the phone, made some phone calls within a month and a half. I was surprised it was pretty quick. Had the panels up, and my bill now is about $5 a month.
That's amazing. Southern California Edison?
Southern California Edison.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about the process. Well, first, tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into the clean energy solar panel business?
Ooh, that's a great story. It's actually I would say a godsend story. Because I was a door-to-door alarm salesman. So I was selling security alarms.
I love it.
Home automation, and I went door-to-door. Had a crazy incident. I won't go into detail. A crazy incident with an off-duty police officer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I can't go into details, but it made me...
He didn't want any home security.
Yeah,
he probably said, look at this. See the shotgun right here? That's my home security.
Long story, man. Long story. So that made me just had a little conversation with the Lord and say, you know what? Please get me out of this business. And I kid you not, it's almost like he was listening to me. He was waiting for me to ask him that question. I went into a Starbucks. It was in Granada Hills. I'll never forget. I ran into a guy who was the manager for Tesla Solar City.
Oh, wow.
just by coincidence. I asked him, like, I saw his shirt and I was wondering about solar because I didn't know anything about it. He was like, yeah, I could get you in an interview. And I was like, do you guys pay a salary? You guys pay benefits? Because I was really trying to get out of the alarm business. It was just too much.
Commission business.
Yeah, big time. Again, your doors are slammed in your face. People cuss you out. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So he set me up with an interview and slammed the interview, got into the solar business as an appointment setter for Home Depot.
Really?
So I was at Best Buy and Home Depot approaching customers and generating leads for the outside consultants go to their home and do a electricity evaluation. So within 30 days, within 45 days, they immediately promoted me to a consultant, and I became one of the top consultants in my area for Spanish and English residential solar.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. When you're consulting somebody, what are you looking for? Because a lot of people out there they're like, oh shoot, I have this bill, I don't know what to do, and they're looking around. Maybe they're going online. What is the process? Let's start to the process. So like me, my bill's $900. I give you a call. I say help.
Well, first thing I make sure, are you the homeowner?
That's a good.
You want to spend too much time with somebody who's a renter and they can't go solar.
Yeah, and in the real estate world or in the sales world, it's called you're talking to the decision maker.
Decision maker, exactly.
Right.
So we first make sure you're the homeowner. Then we ask you a little bit about what are you using in the household, how many people live there. Are you do you have central AC? Do you have a pool? Are you running the pool pump 4 to 6 hours a day? Appliances, and then we also take a look at your electric bill to see what kilowatt hour rate you're paying and how much you're consuming every month or every 2 months, depending if it's LADWP or Southern California Edison. We evaluate that, and then we see how much roof space you have by using Google Maps or satellite images of your rooftop, and then we just basically measure out how many panels we could fit to accommodate your historical data usage of your electricity.
Got it. Now, here's a big thing that people don't know. The biggest energy suck is that pool pump.
Oh, my God, yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The energy pool pump, and if you have central AC, that'll jack up your consumption.
Yeah. Yeah. So you look at the stats and you say, okay, I can drop your bill down. Do you try to wipe out the bill to zero, or how does that work?
Me, as a consultant, I like to set realistic expectations, and my job, obviously, I don't like the utility companies because we already know how they are.
Sure.
I try to kill the entire electric bill, but based on the roof space, I'll set realistic expectations.
Got it. See, for me, Shane, also, what I would do is I put solar panels on the side of the building, the grass, wipe that thing down to zero. I don't want to pay more than I have to. I mean, that's the way I think. I look at that bill, $900. Shoot, that's a lot of money. Screw it.
Yeah.
Put panels everywhere you can go, man.
Yeah.
But does it work that way?
Well, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So we can't put panels on the side of the building.
Make the garage doors solar panels.
Yeah. But if the person's sitting on like an acre of land and there's clear space, we definitely can do ground mounts, which has more than enough room to cover all the electricity. We start off with the rooftop first.
So do you try to save them? Do you try to save them a certain percentage, or?
Yeah. Well, the goal is to, depending how many, because every utility has tier rates that levels of tier rates. So for LADWP, for example, they have 3 tiers of rates. So depending how far they go into that every 2 months, we try to keep them in tier 1 rates, or just help them get enough electricity to cover 100%. So they're only paying the surcharge to have access to the grid. So
Got it. So let's talk about that. So the solar is now, you're generating electricity, but I think this is a misconception. You're not really pulling from the solar panels, right? The power. What you're doing is the energy goes back to the utility company, and then you draw. Is that how it works?
Well, you mean like the regular process?
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about how the process works.
Yeah.
The solar panels are producing energy. Where does that energy go?
The energy goes straight into this thing called the inverter, which transitions DC electricity to AC electricity, because your property cannot run off of DC electricity. It has to go through alternate current, right? So the panels will produce a certain amount of kilowatt hours, right? It goes straight to the inverter. The inverter transfers into the meter, electrical.
The meter, little
the main
brown
panel.
thing, yeah.
And then it provides electricity for the household.
But the meter goes back to the utility company, right? And then you draw.
if you're producing excess energy, the excess energy goes straight back to the grid, and that's where net energy metering is actually put in play.
Got it. All right, so you're really not storing it, right? And
You're not storing it.
You're not storing it. So we'll
Right.
talk about that a little bit afterwards. So the electricity goes back to the utility company, and then you're just using what you use, correct? Throughout the
yeah.
day, right?
Correct.
All right, perfect. And then where the real savings is you're selling it back to them. So
Right.
you're really not drawing any energy from them because you're giving them more.
Right. In some cases,
Then they-
depending on if you use a lot of energy, and I like to use simple math. If your house consumed, let's say you're in Southern California, Edison, you get billed monthly, right? You use 600 kilowatt hours for the month of your electricity. But you have a solar system that produces 650 kilowatt hours. Well, now you produce 50 extra kilowatt hours of net energy metering excess energy that goes straight back to the grid.
Got it.
So you only if you use more than what the solar is producing, you're only paying the difference of those kilowatt hours for that particular month.
Got it. So let's say a 3,000 square foot house. Let's say we're running AC because we hate the heat.
Right.
You're not living in Panama because Panama is super hot. I just came from there. I mean, they run that AC all day long.
Right.
So okay, we're not running. We're running the AC all day. Let's say we have some electric cars. What type of consumption kilowatts does a house like that take?
Well, the average kilowatt size for a solar system is anywhere between 4 to a 6.5 kilowatt, which could cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain that to me, because for the layman, I'm like, when we
Yeah.
talk kilowatt hours, I'm like, what does that
So
mean?
there's different sizes of solar systems,
Uh-huh.
and every house is different based on the amount of electricity they consume. So if you have an electric car, AC, you got a pool, and then you're just pulling so much electricity from the grid, you're going to need a bigger size system. So it's hard to say off the top of my head, but it all depends on how many kilowatt hours per month you're using, and we use the last 12 months of your historical data to determine what size system you need.
Got it. And how does that work, kilowatt hours? Let's say an average house. Can you give me we're just going to talk average numbers.
An average house uses anywhere from 20 to 30 kilowatt hours a day.
A day.
Right.
Got it. And then a solar system, you're trying to produce that much a day.
Yeah, we try to match that. We try to produce as much as long as you have the roof space,
Okay.
which will eventually cut your bill down to zero. But the average savings, which we try to save anywhere between 10 to 30% on your electric bill every single month.
Okay, so we're just trying to bring it down to 10, 30% or cut it down to zero.
Yeah, because there's options to finance it. There's different options.
Okay, got it. Let's talk a little about that. So, let me ask you this. What about the panels themselves? Is there really a difference on the panels? Like, I hear a lot, hey, these are American-made panels. These are Chinese panels.
German, European.
What's the difference there?
Well, there's a huge variety of different manufacturers where panels come from, the origin. So
Does it matter?
It does.
Is there a difference?
It does matter depending on the needs of the homeowner, and if the homeowner is very, very, let's just say they're tech driven, they like the latest technology, they want to brag to all their neighbors. I got the top of the line panels. There's different grades of panels, like for example LG panels. Some of them are 330 to 360 watt panels that produce a lot of power and efficiency. And then there's panels from China that produce less. And there's Hyundai, there's Panasonic panels, Solar World. So there's different types of grades of panels based on if you have a lot of roof space, we don't need to use the highest efficient to reduce the cost. Or you barely have any roof space, so we need to use higher grade panels with more efficiency because we're limited to the roof space.
Got it. So
Exactly,
it
yeah.
really determines on what your roof is.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at here at my consumption here.
Oh, there you got your monitoring, right?
And I have last month, October I did 832 kilowatts. The month before that 973, and this is now summertime, August, 1,144.
Doing good.
Yeah, but I know I'm wasting a lot because that AC is running hard. 1,200. So that's what I'm around.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the panels produce the energy. It goes back to the grid. The deficit is what reduces your
Right.
bill. Is there a monthly fee still that you have to pay?
Yes. So there's two ways that people. Well, there's three ways that people acquire solar panels. Number one, they could buy it outright, pay cash. They pay in milestones based on the after engineering, the permits, inspection, and then the PTO process. The other way is they can finance it. Nowadays, there's like over 50 different financial institutions that just specifically do solar financing to finance solar projects.
What's the rate on that? What's the interest on that?
And I actually just took an online training course because I'm partnering up with a lot of them. 2.9% for 20 years is amazing. If you have a
That's a
650
great
credit
rate.
score, and you can get as low as 2.99%, 20-year.
That's
fixed.
you, Shane. At 650 credit score.
Yeah, and the good thing is, a particular company.
I'm working on it, Jesus. Okay, I'm young. Got a couple monthly payments right now.
Now you're
Doing
gonna
good,
get
doing
all
good.
types of marketing and credit card offers. Be ready for the spam mail.
I've got my gas credit card. Doing
And
well.
Shane's email is no.
So
Okay, well that's good to know because what is a typical cost? Average home, I'd say maybe 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. What type of outlay if they want to go zero? Let's say they meet all the specifications. What type of money are they looking for? To spend 10,000, 15,000. You would say
between 20 and 30,000 before the federal tax credit.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, before the ITC.
So it makes sense. Nobody's got that type of money laying around.
Yeah.
So
as long as the way that I see it, as long as you're breathing, you got a pulse, and you pay your electric bill, and it's over $100, over $100 a month, you definitely are a candidate for solar.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, now how long is the process? They come in, you analyze. Yes, we can do the solar. We can use middle of the road panels. It's going to be sufficient. You don't really need to go with the high roller package panels. What is the process from day one that you're good, green light? They sign the
they sign a
document.
contract. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks. So the very first week is when we create the design, we sign the agreement, and then we start moving forward to submitting the design to get permits.
Okay.
As soon as we get the permits, which could take anywhere from a week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks, depending on which territory we're in. LEDWP is easier because we can do over-the-counter permits, which is fast. We've seen installs as fast as 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow,
of
that's
having
good.
panels on your roof, or it could take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks if we're in Southern California, Edison, because permits take a little bit longer. And if you have an HOA, if you're in an HOA association, it could take even longer because now you have to get an approval from HOA.
That's right. I did do that. I submitted, but that process was pretty easy. I sent a letter to them. And the biggest question for me was, are you altering the way it looks anyway? So they didn't want like some big bulk box. So the solar panels that I have, the inverter's on the panels. So
Right.
so there's no big bulk, nothing outside. You can't even.
You probably have optimizers.
Well, I don't know what it is.
Solar
but
optimizers. There's little optimizers on the panels that'll if there's shading, right? Do you have shading anywhere on your
No.
roof? No shading?
No.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah. All I know is that $5 a month comes in, and I pay it very easy, and I'm very happy to pay that $5 a month. But
That's awesome.
but before we go into that, there's something I want to talk about because it's sort of misleading to me. Because my bill comes, like I said, somewhere between $5 to $10 a month. But then every year,
The true up. It's called the true up.
the true up.
Yes,
that
man.
true up comes and haunts me. It's about $1,100 I pay.
1,100? Wow. Yeah, you're probably. And you know what? They take the a true up, which a lot of consultants do not disclose. And this is why I stress the importance of letting them know, hey, listen, your bill's going to come in $5, $2, even $1. But at the end of the year, be ready to pay a true up because a true up is what all the other surcharges they don't charge you, the little fees, they wait till the end of the year to give you a lump sum if this is what you have to pay.
All right, we'll talk about that. How I think I'm trying to get rid of that true up. We're going to go to the break. Once again, we have Omar Segura in studio. We're talking solar for homes, commercial, etc. This is Jesus Henao, and this is the Commercial Hour.
The turkeys are coming. The turkeys are coming to Bob's Country Meats. This year, make it a fresh Golden Harvest turkey or a free-range turkey from Shelton's. Available at Bob's Country Meats. These turkeys are free-range, and that means no animal protein and antibiotic-free. They're all natural, and that's important these days. Order your fresh Thanksgiving turkey now at Bob's Country Meats, Santa Clarita's store for quality meats. And remember, Bob's turkeys don't do drugs. Catch them now at Bob's Country Meats on Soledad in Canyon Country.
You've been assigned to plan your office party. Time to bring in the experts. AV Party Rentals is your go-to place for the most innovative holiday party ideas. AV's been planning Santa Clarita events from giant galas to intimate gatherings for longer than, well, since Rudolph was a young fawn. AV will turn your office party into a winter wonderland. See the latest holiday displays at Santa Clarita's favorite wedding, party, and holiday event rental store, AV Party Rentals on Newhall Avenue and at avpartyrental.com.
Santa Clarita's hometown station. Hometown station.
KHTS AM 1220 and the new 98.1 FM.
Welcome back. This is the Commercial Hour. Jesus Henao, Leola Commercial, and we're in studio with Omar Segura, and we're talking solar. So before we left to the break, I was saying that the true up is what kills me. You know, and that, by the way, the true up, you got to pay it up front. You got to pay. There's no monthly payments on that. You got. They want their $1,200, $1,100 ASAP. Submit it, and etc. So that's a good point. Nobody really knows about that.
Yeah.
How is that true? Why? How does that come about? Why is that the way it is? What does that mean?
I haven't done enough, and I'll be very candid. I haven't done enough research on it. But the caveat is like you have to be aware that your bills are going to be so cheap. So the money you're saving throughout the year, you want to be mentally aware and prepared to pay that true up when it comes up. Even though your bill is really low, so just think about it. You're paying about depending on how much you use per year. Like in your situation, you probably have a big system, so your true up was pretty high because you're using so much energy, and they're not charging you none of those little small charges every single month until the end of the year. So you just got to be mentally prepared for that true up.
So here's my question. So I'm thinking that I think the way it works is. You're paying monthly. You're paying it. I think they estimate it out. That's the way I can think about it. They estimate it out, but at the end of the year, that's like consumption that I've used because they can't really give me a true valuation of what I'm using, and that true up is what I've used, and I got to pay for that. Mm-hmm. Okay, plus the other small fees. I think that's what it is. So my thinking behind that was, let's get the Tesla Powerwall. So you asked me what that system costs. I put it like a $2,500 payment deposit down, and they're so backed up. This is hot. Yeah. They're so backed up. In September, they said, "Hey, we'll call you back in December because we don't have
back
enough."
Ordered.
Yeah, we don't have enough systems.
Yeah.
So they told me I need two systems, which is two walls.
2 walls, right?
2 walls. And my question to them was, look, I want to draw zero from the grid. I want to have enough power that during the day I'm producing. I come home at night, the sun goes down, and I'm running on batteries. Right. And I don't want to hear from Southern California. And I don't want them to tell me I owe them anything. And my thought process is, if I'm pulling my power from the battery at night, and during the day the solar
is
produces, and it fills up the batteries again.
Stores it.
Then I'm not really drawing anything. My fee should be.
Did the person share with you? Will it help reduce the true up cost?
Because they're on back order. I haven't met with them yet.
Oh, okay.
So
well, make sure you ask that question.
Oh,
super
believe me.
Important because you want to see if that'll help. I know it does help on a time of use plan. So
I'm also on time of use.
That battery's going to definitely help because what Edison is trying to do now, because obviously there's a lot of people transitioning going solar, and we see this huge increase over the last year. The way that they can help fight against us going solar and being grandfathered in for net energy metering for 20 years is to switch people to a time of use plan. Now, in a time of use plan, majority of homeowners are usually home after working, they're 8 hours a day, 9 to 5. They get home, their family's home, the lights turn on, everything's turned on.
Everything's cranking.
And your peak rates are higher because you're using. It's almost like using cell phone minutes after a certain time of the day.
Remember that when cell phones used to charge you when you use them?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
That.
So Edison has it structured where they know that they can recoup millions of dollars because everyone's going to be using the highest amount of energy during the peak hours.
The peak hours.
Versus off-peak hours. So when you have battery storage, battery storage will help offset your charges from using peak hours.
God, and that brings it down even more. That's great. Perfect. Yeah, that's
Which
all
helps
good
for
stuff.
commercial too.
Yeah, for commercial.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, okay, good. So that's the process. We're drawing energy. And I think, you know what's the sad thing is? I think, and you might know this, I think that there is more, California produces more energy through solar and all those other things than any other state. And we sell that solar off to other states, the energy.
Yeah. Gigawatts of solar.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Shane. I'll bring you in on this one. So and we're talking late. Okay. So nobody knows. We don't know anything about how the finances work or Southern California works. DWP. I've never worked there, so I don't know. So let me ask you this: logically speaking, would it be safe to say that if Southern California Edison or DWP are producing, or through solar, they have a surplus of energy that they have to sell it off because they can't use it all, and so that means that it should lower the cost of energy, right?
I'm with you on that, yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I'd agree, yeah. Sell the extra, make a little bit extra money, reduce the cost.
So if they're producing more than they're giving out, then shouldn't our bill go down?
I wish.
Logically speaking,
though, I'm with you. But yeah, you're talking to the
that's all
layman.
up to
I
them.
am the layman. I don't know what you're talking. No, okay.
no, think about that.
Absolutely, but I'm with you. Yeah, that should reduce our overall monthly charge, something to give back to the people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when we look at our energy bill, you still have all these taxes, fees, et cetera, that are on top of it. So, and that fee is to run the operation.
The infrastructure. of the
Infrastructure,
home.
everything, right? But if there's so much energy and I'm selling the energy, then our cost should go down, logically speaking.
Absolutely, that's
I
right.
totally agree.
Why isn't that?
I was just going to ask you, Jesus, tell us.
I think it's just greed. I think it's.
I could chime in too on that.
Yeah,
one.
go ahead.
PUC, the Public Utility Commission.
Okay.
They basically they have the say or do what happens with the utilities. PUC. They make the final say on it.
All right. So let me open up your minds now a little bit further. Okay. Logically speaking, are there unions that run these organizations? DWP. It's a government-run business, right? I think Southern California is it public or private?
Private. I think that one's private owned.
Okay. But let's just take DWP. All right. So DWP must employ a lot of people. So if they don't need to employ all these people because there's a surplus and they're making too much money, what would they have to do?
Reduce their workforce in order to save money?
Perfect. Very good answer. So what happens when you tell a union, we don't need you anymore, we're going to reduce people here?
They usually don't like that. They usually want to form against that and say, no, you're not going to kick me out.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Is that correct?
That's perfectly correct. So think about that. You have a government-run agency that is making too much money, but instead of saying, hey, let's cut down our costs, let's reduce some workforce, let's upgrade our system to handle it, let's use technology to be more efficient and to save more money.
Mm-hmm.
There's no incentive to do that because the unions are going to come after you. They're going to say, no, hold on a second. I've been working here many years. You can't fire me. I'm a loyal employee. But we don't need you. No. And there's the fight. That's where politics creeps into this thing.
Oh, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, Zeus. Okay, I'm with you a little bit better now.
Yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I can see that.
Yeah. So we're going to go a little political now.
Uh-oh.
So government. Let's just take California, for instance. Okay? California taxes us like nobody's business.
Yin-yang.
Yeah. I mean, property tax. I compared property tax between property tax for a home between here and Utah. My property taxes are somewhere around $12,000 a year.
12,000.
Okay?
Ouch.
In Utah, same house, my property tax would be $2,000 a year.
Wow, that's
Okay.
crazy.
Now people say, oh, California has all this infrastructure, all this stuff, and all this crazy stuff, right? But it goes back to the energy example. They're producing so much money, they can't fire people. The unions won't let them. And for political gain, if we have government produces all these jobs, then the people that are in office are Democrats. If they start firing people, what happens to their base? They start disappearing because you're not providing me work. So another great example. When was the last time you went to the DMV, Shane?
Ooh, I'd say it's been about a year. I haven't had to get a new license or anything, so.
How about yourself?
Oh, 6 months ago.
So how was your experience?
Oh my! I don't even want to.
How
was
your
dreadful.
experience?
Dreadful.
Slow, crawling, a little painful, but I survived.
Okay. Do you guys have AAA by any chance?
Yes, sir.
You have AAA?
No, AAA.
Okay. Have you ever tried to go register your car at the AAA?
Yes, I have. I've been going to that AAA building in Valencia.
How was that experience?
Much nicer, a little quicker. I had a little bit of a wait time. I won't say it was perfect, but a much nicer experience directly compared to DMV.
Probably half hour, you're in and out.
Certainly, yeah. Good time.
DMV, you're
Time to get me a AAA membership.
for $65. It's well worth it. Yeah. Well, and you can put 2 people on it if you want to. So $65. I'm in there in a half hour. I'm in and out. Pay my bill. Get my plates. Get my tags. Boom. I'm gone. You go to the DMV with an appointment, and you're sitting in there hour and a half, 2 hours maybe.
Yeah, I was there for 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
That's
and I'll give you I was there when I bought my Tesla. I got I had to get personalized license plates because that's what you do in California. So I went in, and I had my old plates. All I had to do was walk in. I had a reservation. Hand in my plates. They go back there, get the new plates, hand them back to me, and I'll see you later. I mean, that's maybe a 5-minute, 10 minutes max experience. I was there for at least an hour waiting to get my plates. I couldn't believe it. Now that is government at work.
Yeah.
2 choices. AAA, I'm in and out. DMV, freaking there forever.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
I can't stand DMV.
So back to the solar deal. It's sad that we're overproducing solar. And believe me, I want to cut costs. I hate making those payments. I want to cut costs, but the money that they're making, the workforce has not been reduced. It stays the same. The bills are higher. The expenses are higher. What are you doing with that money? What is California doing with all the money?
That's a good question.
And it's crazy because the LEDWP has increased their rates over the last 10 years, and it's been over 5% on compounded 5%. So every 10 years ago, if you were paying tier 1 rates, it was 7 cents a kilowatt. Now it's like 16 cents a kilowatt.
Wow.
And now if you go to tier 2, it's 21 cents a kilowatt when it used to be 15 cents, and it just keeps going up.
And that's the pitch on the solar. The pitch on the solar is exactly this.
It's a hedge against the inflation of those rates.
That's right. That's exactly it. So, I just want to give you guys a open view to how government works and how private versus public work.
Yeah.
Totally opposite. One efficient, one long lines waiting. And look, the government does a couple of things that are good. I mean, police force is good. At least in Santa Clarita it is. I mean, you call, they're at your doorstep pretty fast. But there's not too much going on in Santa Clarita. So they did good things. But this way, I'm a proponent of, hey, if we're public and we're making too much money, let's give it back to the consumer. I'm waiting for my rebate check. Give me my $1,000 rebate. Yeah. Right? We overproduce.
LEDWP still has a rebate, which is awesome. They still have a rebate, but it's running out. For commercial solar, they have 30 cents a kilowatt rebate, and then for LEDWP, they have 25 cents a kilowatt.
Now the question to ask is, why is it running out? The reason why it's running out is because somewhere down the line, and I'm just thinking out loud, but I have a quick understanding how government works. It's running out because they tax somebody, or they raise their rate somewhere. They pull money out of our pockets to give that rebate.
To all the not bonds, but the money they're injecting into the solar industry, right?
Yeah. So that money is coming from somewhere. That money actually comes from us at the end of the day, and it's that money starting to run out because whatever, they made some loans or whatever. So, anyways, that's very interesting how that works. So back to this. So we have 4 months. The panels are up, and I always hear this. They say, "Well, when can I turn the switch? Turn it on."
Yeah. So this is
the power's on, and the panels are up. Everything looks cool.
So
when do I flip the switch? How does that work?
I was just talking to my customer about that, but it's called PTO. So there's interconnection documents you have to sign, and there's PTO documents you're supposed to sign, right? PTO means permission to operate. So now you're at the mercy of the utility company to give you permission to turn the system on. So you can't just turn it on just because they put panels on your roof. So you have to wait. Literally, it's a 3 to 8 week waiting period for them to give you a green light. Say,
all right, let's talk about that.
We're going to try to charge you as much as we can with the rates before you can start going online and start paying less.
All right, so back to this again. I've spent the money, I've gotten debt, and now I'm at the mercy again. It's my house.
It's your house.
I put up the money, but I have to wait for some third-party agency to say, okay, you can turn it on, instead of saying, hey, it's up, let her rip. Because remember, we paid permits to make sure it was done right. There's professionally installed. Everything's legit.
Right. It's all in the cost of the project.
Why can't I just turn the thing on and let it rip? Again, government at its finest, at least in California.
There's always an agenda behind how they structure things. Just put it that way.
Yeah, always. Okay,
Yeah.
so we turn it on, and then the solar panel starts producing energy immediately. And then let's talk about like apps. How do they work? Because I had my app up, and I was saying I was saving power.
Yeah. So the app gives you the app gives you a pretty clear idea of monitoring your production of your system every single day or every month. You can track it however you want to do it. But basically, when you know how much you're consuming, you can actually look at your app and say, okay, I'm actually producing X amount of kilowatts today, so it looks like I'm ahead.
Got it.
So it's almost like a daily monitor. Or what happens if one of the monitors or one of the modules are faulty, or if there's maintenance required, you'll be able to see because it's on your app, which will be serviced by the solar company that put the panel on your roof.
Got it. So once again, I have Omar Segura in office. You can reach him at 661-305-8524. Once again, 661-305-8524. If you need a consultant, you want to put some panels up, you want to save some money, there's his information, and give him a call.
Ask for Solmar.
Solmar, there you go. So it's up. The panels are running. You're noticing. Let's talk maintenance, because I had my solar panels up almost 2 years now.
Did you own them or you leased them?
I bought them.
You bought them. Perfect.
I bought them.
Good choice.
And there's an option there about that. Let's talk about that. What's the difference between owning and leasing?
Good question. I get that question all the time. So leasing is where the solar company will provide the system on your roof. They lease it to the homeowner, and they basically are buying the power from the solar system, right? So technically they don't own the system. They basically lease it. So they have leasing payments which are structured out over a 20-year period. Now, leasing, the disadvantage of it is that the value of your property doesn't really go up as it's supposed to. It's a lease, and it's a little bit more difficult to transfer when the property is being listed on the market.
For sale,
which I heard from a lot of realtors. Like, especially it's a lease. They have to, the new homeowner that's going to buy the property has to qualify for the lease and then monthly payments, etc. Whereas if you own it, not only do you get the tax credit, because on a lease you don't get the tax credit. The company providing solar keeps the tax credit. So on ownership, you keep the tax credit. There's a lot of financing options for fixed, predictable payments over the next 15, 20 years. And then also your property value goes up and is actually more attractable for potential home buyers that want home energy efficient property.
Got it. And in the way I did my panels, I think were about $35,000 I paid for it. And to just explain a little bit how that works is they give you 2 loans. One loan is for
tax credit.
The tax credit.
Correct.
And then the other one is the regular.
Yeah, so you got a combo loan.
Yeah. So the tax credit portion, which was fantastic, was I didn't have to pay that for a year and a half. No payment, no nothing, zero.
Right.
And then I used that money against my income. So
because you're self-employed.
Self-employed, yeah. Wait, so how does that work? What do you mean?
So you're self-employed. So obviously, when you do your deductions, your tax liability will be based on your deductions and how you file your taxes, right? So if you owe the IRS money after you're done filing, usually the money that you owe towards the IRS will be offset by your investment in solar,
the tax credit,
which is the ITC tax credit. So let's just say, for example, you owe $15,000 to the IRS, but you bought solar last year, and your tax credit, which was entitled to you, is $12,000. You're only going to end up paying $3,000 IRS.
Got it.
Now, if you're employed, right, if you're a salary wage earner, it's a little different because you usually get a refund after your tax liabilities. Usually, you get the full refund, and then you apply it towards the principal balance of your loan that you're financing the project with.
Got it. So I took out the 2 loans, and I have one. I paid one loan off, and I have one left. And my bill is I pay monthly about $250. No, actually $225. So
versus how much you were paying before?
A month versus $900 a month.
So you're saving over $7,000 a year. Even with the true up, you're still saving money.
Yep, absolutely. That's why I did it.
So
I plug in my car at night, and it charges it, and works beautiful. And my bill still, even with the Tesla, my bill didn't spike.
So it didn't consume as much kilowatt hours?
No, it was maybe $1 or $2.
Oh, that's not that
That's
much.
nothing. So people ask me, is it a real savings? I'm like, look, I have the free supercharging, so I don't pay for charging there, and I have I charge it at night, so I don't pay anything there. So I was looking at, I have other cars, and I'm looking at the gas bill. $80 a tank, $90 to fill it up.
You're saving money.
And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's a big savings. I don't think it really pencils out at the end of the day, but it makes me feel good.
Gives them the peace of mind
that I don't have to go to the gas pump and drop $80 every time I go in there. And that's like a weekly or a week and a half cost.
Wow.
Because of the driving. I mean, it's killer. So, all right, once again, we have Omar Segura in studio, Clean Energy Solar Brokers, and give him a call at 661-305-8524. He's obviously servicing Santa Clarita, small business owner. We like to support those out here. And if you're thinking about solar, give him a call. He'll give you the best advice. And we have one small segment. We'll be right back. This is a commercial hour. Jesus Henao, Leola Commercial.
The Art Gallery of Santa Clarita Artists Association, located in downtown Newhall on 6th Street between Railroad and Main, features local members' original artwork with changing exhibits every 2 months. Purchase affordable art for your home or as gifts. Open Friday through Sunday or by appointment. Artists wishing to join the SCAA can visit santaclaritaartist.org, come to our free monthly meetings at Barnes & Noble, or stop by the gallery. For upcoming shows, check us out at santaclaritaartist.org. We make visual art visible.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
This Christmas, join us for the ultimate holiday concert, A Very Merry Christmas with the Letterman, Sunday, December 9th, 5 p.m. at the Santa Clarita Performing Arts Center. The legendary Letterman here in Santa Clarita singing your favorite holiday classics. Joining them is Santa Clarita's singing sensation, Savannah Burrows, along with our very own West Ranch High School choir. You'll also hear the Letterman perform their string of top 10 hits. A Very Merry Christmas with the Letterman.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
The Letterman, Savannah Burrows, and West Ranch Choir, Sunday, December 9th. For tickets, visit canyonspack.com.
Merry Christmas.
It's allergy season again. You've tried it all, yet your sinuses continue to be a problem. Try something different, something holistic, something that will really work. Acupuncture. Kathleen Keneally is Santa Clarita's acupuncture and innate specialist. She's been treating many of your neighbors and their children for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and pain. Find out how acupuncture can improve the quality of your life. Call Kathleen Keneally for a free phone consultation. 252-4100. 252-4100. Acupuncture. It really works.
Your hometown station.
KHTS AM 1220 and the new 98.1 FM.
Welcome back. This is the Commercial Hour. Jesus Henao, and I have in studio Omar Segura, Clean Energy Solar Brokers, talking solar panels and energy efficiency. And now we're going to jump in. We talk a lot about homes just because I have experience with that. I have them up in my home. So I wouldn't pitch something I don't own, so I do own it. And I'm very happy with it. The only thing I have to change is my pool pump. I still have the old
Get an
pool
energy
pump.
efficient one.
Yeah,
And there's possibly rebates for that too.
There is rebates. I just been lazy to get it done, but I got to do it. I don't even use the pool. I don't even know I have a pool. I hardly ever use it. My kids use it or once in a while, but I never use it. Anyways, so we're going to talk a little bit about commercial. Now, you were giving us an example in Sun Valley. Actually, I grew up in Sun Valley, so I know the area very well.
Oh, perfect.
Talk to us about what you're doing there.
Yeah, so we have a bid, and in the commercial sector, it's competitive because there's tons of solar companies that are popping up left and right, especially for residential as well. But I like to use this as an example because the reaction that we got from the CEO of this auto body shop was kind of like, it was almost funny, but at the same time, like, no-brainer, there's got to be a catch type of deal, right?
Yeah.
So they're spending about $1,200 to $1,500 per month on electric. They got about 4 meters, and they are looking at reducing their operating costs, making their auto body shop more efficient. So they were interested in solar. We came at them with a bid. The project cost was about $100,000. It was a 100 kilowatt project. They got 2 buildings.
Is that a day or a month? Or
no, well, the size of the system is 100
so-
kilowatt.
right.
So the project cost is $100,000, but after their MACRS depreciation, after their tax credit, and fast forward, they're only going to spend $17,000.
That's great.
On a $100,000 system after all the California incentives are in place.
And obviously, for an auto body, you have lifts, you have power tools. I mean, you're sucking a lot of energy.
And demand charges. There's demand charges they pay for.
That's right.
Demand charges, for people who don't know what that is for commercial, is the most amount of energy the company pulls in a 15-minute interval. So it's called demand charges, which you cannot get rid of. So what helps reduce demand charges, for auto body shop, in this particular case, they turn on all their compressors at the same time. All their lights, their compressors, 8 in the morning. You spike your energy like crazy within 15 minutes. That's how they measure your demand charges. Added value of anybody who's listening, what they can do is they can turn on certain parts of the equipment, like a gym or auto body shop or a corporation, a building, is to turn on their electricity just portions at a time in segments to avoid high demand charges.
Wow. I mean, it seems like they're just trying to get you any which way they can.
Oh, yeah. If you're not educated, you're going to get stuck somewhere.
Well, think about that. If I'm assuming his bills, I don't know, probably a couple, maybe $1,000. What was his bill a month?
It was like $1,500.
$1,500. If I can reduce that down to zero, that's a big savings.
Huge savings.
Yeah, that means more money in my pocket as the business owner. More business coming through. Now I can spend it on marketing. I can hire the other guy that's going to be the Tesla tech. And believe me, there's companies that do that. Somebody hit my car the other day in the rear end, and the funny thing, I got it fixed, but it got backed up into me. But I wasn't even in the car, and I took it to a guy that in Van Nuys that just does Teslas, and he says, "Oh yeah," and I'm looking at his bid. I'm like, "What's his electricity cost here?" He's like, "Yeah. We charge up your car while it's here. There's a cost for that."
There's a cost for that.
I said,
"Can I give it for free?" Jeez, man.
No, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense because if he's paying $1,500 a month and he's doing just Teslas, that means he's powering those cars up. His
Every
energy
single day
is going up.
You're not the only car either.
Yeah. In his car, I mean, he had a bunch of Teslas, accidents or whatever and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd say he had probably 20 cars on the lot. So if he's charging all those cars, his energy is going to be a lot more than $1,500.
Have him give me a call.
I am. I'll give you the guy's number.
Yeah. And I also wanted to bring up a subject from the previous before the commercial, is that there's you can actually capture the 30% tax credit when you do a re-roof and solar. So you get a bigger tax credit.
Oh, when you do re-roof
yes.
also.
We're doing an estimate for the body shop. We're going to do a full re-roof and the system, and now he's going to get a full 30% tax credit on the entire project.
Wow.
As a whole.
So that's interesting. Yeah. So you can get, that's what when I saw mine, I saw that it was they didn't do a whole re-roof. They just did portions where the panels were up.
Right.
And is that me? I think that's me. Somebody's calling me. So anyway, so yeah, that's good. To do the re-roof is good, especially if it's an older roof.
Yeah, if it's an older roof. Yeah.
Yeah. So in my case, it wasn't. I think I spent money on the re-roof and I didn't have to do it, but that's just the way it turned out, man. But it's good to be educated on that.
Always.
Okay.
Man.
Finally, let's talk about what do you, for the young guy out there trying to get into business. He's in college, high school. What advice you got for somebody like that?
Well,
life, not about but about life. What has worked for you?
Just being service and humility, being someone of service that wants to be honest, truthful, wants to really help the customer out. So when the customer goes to sleep and they made a decision to do business with you, they can sleep at night.
Yeah, I like that.
Because this world works. The way that the universe works is it's almost like you reap what you sow.
Absolutely,
so
I agree with that.
Whatever you do in private, the customer doesn't know about will be exposed.
Oh, you better believe it. That's why I'm so happy. When I was around growing up, there was no Facebook, Instagram. Nothing is recorded.
You didn't have a digital trail following you.
No digital trail, yeah. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because, I'll give you a small example. We're going to wrap up here, but to give you a small example is I had my company in Encino, and I needed a secretary. So I put out on a bunch of different places ads to hire a secretary. So this girl sends her resume, and it's perfect. She's saying everything that I want to hear. So back then it was, what's that? It wasn't Facebook. It was, there's another like Facebook type of deal out there. The name will come to me. And I said, let me check her out, see what's going on with her. So I pull up her site, and I see her. She's smoking weed. Oh, she's partying. She's out on the town. And her whole MySpace.
MySpace back in the days.
Yeah. And her whole MySpace was that. So she's drinking, partying, going crazy. And I'm thinking,
do you really want to hire this person?
I really want to hire this person. So you're absolutely right. Be honest. Be what I call authentic.
Authentic, yeah.
And you'll be fine. Once again, thank you, Omar, for coming in. And hopefully we can get some business for you. Clean Energy Solar Brokers. This is Jesus Henao of Leola Commercial. And we'll catch you back next week. Take care.
Thank you. Appreciate it.